Welcome to another edition of On the Road with WHCA. As you've come to know, we like to take our cameras out on the road and explore some of the locations. It could be an eatery, it could be a specialty store. Well, today we find ourselves in downtown Whitman, a place that artists and authors like to bring their stuff. So if you, the buyer, is looking for a good book or some crafts, you can check out the Flying Pig Emporium. We're going to go inside and say hello to Fran Nealon and find out what the Flying Pig is all about. Stay tuned. Well, here we are. We're inside the Flying Pig Emporium, and we are with Fran Nealon. Fran, I believe, is the owner and proprietor of said store.
Yes, I am, Kevin.
First and foremost, tell us a little bit about the Flying Pig Emporium. When did you start? When did you open up for business?
Okay, we opened on October 5th in 2013. My husband and I had moved back from working and living in Florida after 7 years. We have a daughter and son-in-law and 2 grandchildren in town. My daughter found a house for us. We're here. Came back, had to do something, so I started doing crafts. And when I did, the same thing I would hear at every craft fair was, not just to myself, but to other crafters, was, do you have a store we can come to? And it started me thinking, I know we had a nice little town square here. I wanted to do something I could do local. So I waited for 5 years while I was saving all my money up so that I could get, everything going. And I knew without a doubt that I wanted to do it here in town because I wanted to contribute to the town I live in. Because as we know, the more tax dollars we spend in town, the better it is for all of us. So that got me started with the idea, and then I was lucky enough to find this location, and then what you see is what we got.
Where did the name come from? How did that come to be? Because it's a unique name.
Well, I was doing my crafting under Nana's Place. But my daughter said to me, Mom, I think if you do Nana's Place, you might put off some people because they may think, and please don't get me wrong, because we love the elderly. I'm one myself. But she was afraid that maybe young folks might not want to come in because they might not think there was anything appropriate for them as well. So she had given me as a gift a ceramic pig, and I happened to be looking past her when she said about the name, and I went, I'll call it the Flying Pig. Of course, you have to look up the names to make sure they're not registered by someone else.
Sure.
And the Flying Pig, the Green Pig, all that was taken. So I always loved the word Emporium because it means gift shop.
Sure.
So Flying Pig Emporium came together, and that's how we have the name.
So when did you officially open the doors, and how long have you been the Flying Pig Emporium?
We came in June to start prepping the place for the setup of the store. I had pretty, strong ideas of what I wanted to do. In fact, my husband teases me because every time he'd come in and say, well, why don't you do this? Why don't you do that? He said, I have a dream. This is the way I'm going to do it. He said, all right, it's your store, it's your store. But he helped me, along with a few other friends to get things rolling and set up in the store. So that was in June. And I wanted to make sure that we were up and running for the first Christmas season because, as all the merchants know, the Christmas season can either make or break you. Exactly. So we did get started up in October. We had our grand opening, we had our soft opening, on October 5th, and then we had our grand opening in November. We did all the hoopla with the cutting of the ribbon, and a rep deal was here to help out. Some of the police came by, to kind of keep the crowd control. No, I'm only kidding on that. But anyway, but we did have a lot of people, nice people drop in, and that's probably one of the funnest parts of running the store is all the wonderful people who come through that door.
How was it to have a local lawmaker come on in, and I think, wasn't there like a proclamation or something?
Yes,
special like that?
He brought us a proclamation for the store, and it was pretty exciting because anybody who knows Jeff Deal knows he's such a nice man, and he just, he has such just such a presence about him, and you always know that he cares in what he does. So it was nice to see him there, introducing me to the public in our store and getting us underway.
Now, from what I understand, you do something more than just offer a place for folks who are artists or authors, a place to, you know, for folks to kind of view and purchase. But I believe you have an ongoing raffle going for scholarships, right?
Yes, we do. We knew that when we started the store, and when I say we knew, I say my husband too, because he's, you know how they say the woman behind the man? Well, he's the man behind the woman.
Kind of the silent partner.
Yeah, and he supports me 150%. But we knew in the beginning that, again, we wanted to do something that would involve the community, that would help us to give back. So my pet project is to give scholarships to art students up at the high school. Now, art doesn't have to mean just drawing. It's anything artistic. It can even go over into the theater group eventually. But as we all know, whenever there are cuts in school funds, the arts and music are usually the first things to go. And without arts and music, as you'll see when we tour the store, we wouldn't have all this creativity that you see here. And when you see what we have, you'll find out you have a lot of talented neighbors. So we do the raffle in the fall, and we keep a little box up by the counter for anybody who wants to just throw change in. We'd prefer dollar bills, but change is fine. Anything adds up, you know. And because of what we did last May, we were able to give a $600 scholarship to Emma Morell here in town, and she is over at Montserrat in Beverly. So it was pretty exciting to be able to do that, to hopefully help our next great artists come along. You never know. Who
might want to have their whatever they've created here in your store.
Well, hopefully they'll go well beyond this even, and maybe someday, who knows, get into a museum. You never know.
How many crafters, how many artists and crafters do you have in this very store?
Well, we have more than 50. I'm not quite sure of the count right now because we've added a couple of more, but it's more than 50. And they range in age from 10 years old up to 86. So we take them all, you know, as long as they have a talent and they're willing to put their stuff in here, then we take them in. And it's intriguing to see what walks through that door. And a lot of times I look at stuff and I go, why didn't I think of that? You know, you say to yourself, God, that seems so simple. But the things that seem the simplest are usually the hardest to do. And like I said, we have a lot of wonderful artisans, and about probably 85% of them at least right here from Whitman.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
I have to say, the one thing that intrigues me, or that has intrigued me the past couple times I've stopped by here just to chat with you, is the sign that you have on the window, "Browsers Welcome." I think that's something clever. What made you think to put something like that in the window to attract folks?
Okay, well, I'm somewhat I say, of an old-fashioned girl. And the way my parents brought me up, they say you never go in a store without buying something because you don't want to take up the time of the people who own the store.
True.
So I would see a lot of people come by, and usually older, that would look in and they'd want to come in, but I think they were embarrassed to come in and not walk out with something. So I said, that was one reason. But secondly, because you don't want to stand out there going, hey, come on in, come on in. You know, you want them to know they're welcome, but you don't want to beat them over the head with it. And this way, they come in, they look around the store. They don't have to buy something because maybe what they saw, the next time they need something, they'll go, oh, remember that store we were at? They had that thing and I could pick that up for whatever. And I've had a lot of people come back and actually do that, which has been wonderful. And I've made friends just from people walking through the door.
And that's important when you're in business.
Absolutely.
I think that's a clever idea. I think the other thing that you're seeing more and more, and it's something that you do, and that is paint nights. Talk to me about doing paint nights here.
Well, I was lucky enough, or I am lucky enough, I should say, to have wonderful children. And my two daughters, for my birthday 2 years ago, took me to a paint night in Boston. And it was just a lot of fun. It really was just so much fun. And I know we have painters here in the store. So I'm like, I wonder if one of them would, be approachable to do something like this. And as it turned out, Deb Hendrickson, who's in Abington, said, sure, I'd love to do it. She does paint nights anyway. She does them in your home and everything. So we talked to her about it. The first paint night we did, it was fully booked. We can fit up to 14 people comfortably. We did a painting. But then everybody started saying, well, we have, gone to many others where we've done a lot of paintings, but we only have so many walls in our home. So is there something else you can do? So we started by doing charger plates, and charger plates are, sometimes you put them under your dishes to make your table settings look beautiful. Sure. Other times they come with dishes on top, and you can put food on them, and they make your food look beautiful. And you can also hang them on your walls, so they can be decorative as well, or use them as centerpieces. So we started doing charger plates and do them for every occasion of the year, throughout the year. And we have several women who come to every class because they want a charger plate for every season and every holiday. And we just did our Halloween one. So our Thanksgiving one is coming up November 5th. And we keep the schedule online, so if anybody wants to know. And if you shop, we also have it on paper that you can take with you, so that in case you don't have computer access.
Now, do you have a marketing background? Because all these ideas, I mean, it's such great ideas. I mean, somebody who's educated, or just somebody just has good old-fashioned common sense?
Well, I try to work empathetically. I think about, what do I want to see in a store? How do I want to be treated? What are the kind of things I'd like to do? So this is the way that I work. Plus, my husband's the same way. He's an empathetic manager. So I would say that probably through osmosis over the years, it's kind of worn off on me. But I ran another business before. I ran a mobile disc jockey company, and same thing. I just said to myself, how do I want to be treated when someone comes in to my business and is going to sit with me probably for some of the most important things that go on in my life, like weddings and, unfortunately losing someone, or a birth, or whatever. So basically just kind of thought of it that way, and that was very successful as well. But then we got a little too old for lugging things around, so we turned it over to our oldest daughter, and now she runs it. But so I brought those practices into this, and I just, I have an imagination that kind of runs away with me sometimes. So my husband keeps me in check, helps me not to do crazy things, but, things that we know that we can do.
The voice of reason.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Talk to me about, we've talked about crafters. I see books around the store. I see things for special causes. Talk to me about some of those items. Okay.
We started out with the books. We had 6 children's authors and 6 adult authors. And we've had a couple of nights here where we've had them come in and read. We had a poetry night. They started to really take off, and I think even though we have a wonderful library, sometimes people like to just give books as gifts. So I thought, well, that should be in a gift store as well. And we have so many local authors. Of the 6 children's books we originally had, 3 of them were written by people right here in town. So then one of our crafters here in the store too, her name is Stephanie Blackman, she runs Riverhaven Books. And just about all the people on that rack over there are her clients. So we just expanded into more and more books, because the ones that we did have, people had already read, so we needed more. So now we have more authors of children's and adult books, and it's been wonderful.
Now, my list here, you get something that says Reptile Day.
Oh, yes.
What is that?
Well, again, you never know what your crafters do or what their hobbies are. Like, we do have another woman at a later date where we're going to do a basket weaving class, okay, but that's later on. But this particular young girl, she's just graduated college this past May. She is an artist. She does a lot of pictures and paintings to do with like bearded dragons, turtles, geckos, creatures. So she herself has this wonderful bearded dragon named Kronos. And she has another gecko. It's a particular kind of gecko, which I can't remember the name of it right now. She has an aquatic frog, a tree frog, a mantis, a praying mantis, and a couple of other things that she's going to be in here on this Saturday, showing to the public. Anybody who wants to come down, it's all free of charge between 12 and 3. And if the kids are really good about it, she may even let them hold the animals, because we don't want to frighten them. But if they're calm and everything, she'll let them hold her animals, and it'll be fun for them.
How often will you hold this Reptile Day? Is this something that you'll probably try to do every so often?
I don't know. We're always trying to do new things all the time, and this kind of just fell into my lap because I was at her graduation and she showed me the bearded dragon, and I said, do you have more? And she said, sure. I said, how about a day? She said, great. And that's how it came about. So we're always looking for things to give the townsfolk to come in and participate in. Especially in the wintertime we try to do it, because you know you get that cabin fever and you want to get out of the house for a little while, you know. So, but this is something we wanted to do for the children because Halloween's around the corner, and we thought, what better time to do it than now?
Let's talk about further down the road other holidays. We know that Winterfest will not be held here in Whitman any longer.
That is correct.
And I believe that there's something in the works in regards to the popular, I think it's a book and it was a movie, The Polar Express.
Exactly. We did it for the first time last year, and we had a good turnout, and it was a lot of fun. And of course, at Christmas time, you have to do something with children, because just the look on their faces just, you know, lightens your heart and gives you joy. So I said, well, dang it, I'm still going to do the Polar Express. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I might as well have Santa come to visit. So I wrote a note to the North Pole, and Santa said he will come.
Very nice.
So we're going to do that as well. And we'll even do pictures with Santa that we can send to people on their Facebook accounts or their emails, and we will just send them to them for free, because with digital pictures you only have to put them on the internet and send them out. So they can get their pictures here with the Santa as well. Okay.
Let's also talk about as far as custom, if somebody had like custom orders that they wanted to do. Talk to me about that.
Well, we're doing that already, which is wonderful, because all of our crafters, again, they're very open to their customers. And in fact, this weekend we had a young man who was celebrating his 1-year anniversary with his girlfriend.
Okay.
And he wanted to give her a lovely piece of jewelry. And one of our jewelers had a special piece that she knew exactly what it was that he wanted. So we came in on Sunday, even though we're not open on Sunday, and we brought the piece in for him. Another woman came through the door, and she had a sign. She's known in her family for when everyone gets married or buys a new home, she always gets them the plaque with their name on it. But she lost the person who was doing it for her. She said, can you help? I called up one of my crafters. They said, sure, just tell us what you want. We have another crafter that, again, with digital imaging, there's a whole group of items over there, which we'll look at when we go through the store.
Which we'll do in a few moments.
Exactly, which again can be ordered with your digital photos. And so they make for more personal gifts that you can give to the people you care about. And then anything in the store virtually can be remade into something that somebody wants. I mean, like for instance, the woman who does these beautiful jackets, they can switch out the colors, whatever the particular designs are on them. So like for instance, if someone loved that design but wanted to put it on that shirt, she can do that. We have a gentleman we just got in that does these beautiful egrets, and he will do them in different colors as well. So this is what he's come up with so far. But basically, just about anything. I mean, short of writing a book for you, but even then, who knows, one of our crafters might do it. But short of that, anything else can be really customized to your liking.
Well, we just a couple of moments left in our, at least our interview portion of this program. Two real quick things. How often do you find where you have so much stuff that you're going to have to rotate and move things around the store, or you'll have them certain areas of the store? And the other thing is if you could touch upon shopping local.
Okay. What's funny about what you said about the rotating is I can have an item sitting in the store somewhere, and I might have it there for a month, and then I move it, and some of my customers who come back. Repeat customers will go, "Oh, I didn't know you had that." And I'll go, "Well, it was down the other end." But what I try to do is rotate things around, first of all, to make it interesting for when you come into the store. Secondly, to give everybody a chance to have their things seen in a different light. And we try to put things together that maybe you don't think of, that you would say, "Oh, I would never do that," but maybe you would. And the other thing we try to do is promote the art as gifts as well, okay? But basically that. And then, I'm sorry, what was the second part of that question again?
Shopping local.
Oh, yes, absolutely. Please, please, please do that. Whether it's, you know, Whitman or Hanson, because we are kind of sort of combined, so to speak. But help promote your small businesses because they really need your help. So if you start here first and you don't find what you want, then I can understand you move on. But give us a shot first because we're here for you and we want to stay open. But we can't stay open if you don't come and support us. So that's what we want you to do.
And usually the money stays local as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. Because I shop local myself, you know. And I'm proud to say there's a lot of new businesses in town that are run by women, which is a great thing. And we keep each other informed about things. And we also send everybody to all the other businesses, including, you know, going across the street to Rose Beads or going for dinner or lunch at McGuigan's or down to Duvall's who does prescriptions. I mean, we have a lot to offer people in town. So we just want them to keep that in mind.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to take a little bit of a tour around the Flying Pig Emporium. So when we come back, stay tuned for that.
So Kevin, you want to take a little walk around the store and I'll show you what we have?
Well, I think that's the plan.
Okay, sounds good.
I know that you and I were sitting down and we were talking. This was one of the areas in great detail that you had mentioned a couple of things, not only books but also some pictures. So if you want to kind of point out a couple of things,
sure.
the viewers would definitely love to see some of the stuff that you have here.
Well, what we have here on the counter is a young lady called Christina Roscoe, and she goes by Slates by Tina because we have slates further on in the store. But this is what I was talking about with regard to doing custom orders for any occasion. Everything you see on there can have your digital picture on it.
Oh, fantastic.
Which really makes it wonderful. And that picture with all the little children on it was the first example of someone who wanted their digital pictures to be used in a custom fashion. So we have that. And then
we have the books.
We have all the books here.
Okay.
And more over here. And people can get, obviously, a better look at them when they come into the store.
Okay.
And get to know the authors that way. Then we'll pass through our area where we usually have presentations. We set up the store so that we can do book readings or whatever else.
It's a nice layout.
Yep,
We
it
got
works
a little bit
out
of
really well.
Now, is this a real fireplace or is this just a mantle?
It is electric and the fire does come on, so it makes it real cozy in the wintertime especially. And we usually serve the hot mulled cider or the hot chocolate when we have an event in the wintertime. So it's just, we wanted to have the store to have like a homey feeling rather than a kind of a sterile store type of setup, you know. That's why the things that we've used, other than certain racks, which we have to use, but we've tried to use things that you find in your home, tables and the shelving and things, and the fireplace chairs. And also what this does too is we have a lot of elderly that drop by because we, of course, live next door to a place that has a lot of elderly people, and this works out great for having a seat, or anybody with any kind of a problem that we want them not to feel like they can't come in just because they're a little bit impaired, and they get to sit there, and friends have met here and become friends too, so it works out really nice.
Something else that we had talked about earlier,
yes,
correct?
Let me point this out. One of our gentlemen who works in the store here, his mother is going through breast cancer. So he came up with the idea of this shirt that says Hope. And on the back side, it's a quote from Emily Dickinson that goes further into it. And what he's doing is for the breast awareness, he's selling these. So let's move along, okay? We have a new candle company that's come in. We have a gentleman that does all that beautiful craft work on the pieces of wood where he carves everything out. We have another gentleman called Wicked Cool Guy, and he has a number of products in the store.
Cool things. I've seen them around the store, whether it's a cool guy, a cool girl, or a cool dog.
A cool kid, a cool dog. Let me think, a cool baby.
Okay.
Cool baby, too. I'd like to mention especially these cribbage boards as well. Because,
fantastic.
Oh, yeah, he will
All
do
the hard work.
anything you want. One woman bought Massachusetts. A friend of hers saw it and said, can he do Wisconsin? He did Wisconsin. I mean, I did New Hampshire for my son-in-law for his birthday. So he can do just about anything. You give him the design and he does it.
Flying pig?
Yes, flying pig for the store. And if you're a cribbage lover, then you will love these boards because they're very sturdy. They've got all the little pins in them that you need. They're in behind. And they look pretty good on your wall, too.
And you can't lose them, that's for sure.
And they're sturdy, let me tell you. They're really sturdy. Then we have a whole section
we get behind for kids?
For children who love their dolls. In fact, if they need costumes, they fit American Girl dolls, they fit 18-inch dolls, 15-inch dolls, so there's plenty there to choose from.
For all doll collectors, then.
Exactly. Then right here, I was telling you earlier, you might remember about the young girl who got the scholarship,
That's correct,
Emma.
for painting.
This is a piece of her work. And
4th of
she was
July?
very shy about it. One thing you'll find with the kids when they're doing their art, all the students, they just don't think they're good. You know, they really don't. And some of their work is amazing. And we're trying to promote that more and more in the store again to give them that confidence and get their work out there to be seen. This is where you usually will find the paint night, whatever we're doing.
Nice.
This is from a previous one. Deb Hendrickson, who is our teacher, tomorrow is bringing in the pieces that are going to be worked on in November. So this will be here, and anyone who wants a copy of the schedule can grab it from the store.
Okay.
We already have the pictures out online, as I said.
All right, now how about as far as over here? You have table runners.
Oh, yes.
Talk to us about this, and quilts?
Yes,
Quilting?
we have, there's two ladies in this area, Sue and Wendy. Sue does the reversible ones that are the fabric itself is the only way I can describe it, and they're padded on the inside. And Wendy does all the, she does the quilted ones. So from their back are all the quilted ones. And then we have aprons, jewelry, and then our painted glassware. Where the drawings here that you see are one of our young girls who, she just turned 20.
Wow.
So we have quite a number of very, very local artisans and crafters that we're very proud to have in the store.
Anything you want to say to the folks before we say goodbye to you, at least for now?
Well, I'd like to say, first of all, please come in and see us. Please come in and see us. We do appreciate very much any business that you give us, and we always want you to remember to please shop local. Help your town, help us to stay open, shop local. And we appreciate it. Thank you.
Can't say it any better than that. It's another episode of On the Road with WHCA. Until next time, have a great day.
Clean kitchen surfaces, utensils, and hands with soapy water. 1 in 6 Americans will get sick from food poisoning this year. Keep your family safer. Check your steps at foodsafety.gov.